Okay, so the pen I'm reviewing at the moment is a fairly expensive higher end pen. It's a Visconti. Personally my favourite pen brand. Love the nibs, love the design, and they're just great pens all around. Alright, so you open up the packaging and you get your faux leather box, which is quite nice. It's quite a large, robust box. You have a pull-out tray here, which contains your Visconti catalogue, which contains all the pens you can't afford. Then on the back of it you have a serial number which is associated with the pen, which you can then use to register online. You open it up and your pen is inside. These boxes are quite a nice design. I like how the fabric is. It's got a nice little holder in there to stop it from falling out. So this is the Homo sapiens lava steel oversized pen. It's quite a nice pen. It's very robust and very heavy. Feels like good quality material. It's made out of a resin and balsamic lava, I think it is. And they mix it together to form this material. Apparently it's flame proof and other things, but it's got a nice texture to it. It's not smooth, it's a little bit rough, but at the same time it's not overly rough either. It's just got that texture so you know it's not going to fall out your hand. Apparently it's hygroscopic, so it absorbs moisture. I thought initially that would cause the feed to discolour or have issues, but I've filled this up with reds and blues and purples, all your typical highly saturated inks, and I haven't come across any discoloration yet. Alright, so on the end you have the Visconti MyPen system. You can take that off with a magnet, and I'll just show that. I think I've got one here. There we go. So if you've got a magnet, you can take the cap off and you can put your initials or something customised on top. On this one I'm probably going to leave it as is because I quite like the Visconti cap on this one. You have your typical Visconti clip, which I quite like the look of. Billboard spring-loaded clip. A lot of people complain that it doesn't hold on enough, but you know, I wouldn't be putting this pen in my top pocket then bending over. But I quite like the design of the clip. It looks pretty, it's shiny. You got two steel bands here and a steel band up here where the cap is. Around the middle you got another stainless steel band and it says Homo sapiens on it. Obviously this is the steel series. The bronze series has bronze parts to it, which then will age with time. I believe there are several other series of this. I was quite pleasantly surprised. I thought this would have been a capture converter when I got it. Turns out this one's actually one of the power fillers. There were several models bought out, and I believe even the rings will differ depending on which model you get. Some have the rings up here. I believe another one has a ring down here as well. And with the steel series, they came out in both capture converter and in power filler. Now personally I prefer the power filler because it just seems a bit more robust and a bit fancier. I have used the capture converters on a Davina once before, and I wasn't a big fan of it. It just seemed a little bit too cheap for the price that you're paying for the pen. But so this, you unscrew the cap here, you pull it out, you dip it in your ink, and you push it down and you feel it suck, just like a vacuum filler, like the Twisby vacuum fillers. Apparently all the insides are titanium, and which means that they shouldn't corrode or the ink won't affect them, and you should be using this pen for a very long time. Alright, so we uncap it, and the Visconti Homo sapiens uses the same quarter turn twist method that some of their other expensive pens like the Opera and that use. I like it. It's a real easy method. You just push, twist a quarter turn, and it comes straight off. Nice and easy to use. Quite a good setup. They should change all of their pens over to this. Then you've got the Visconti Dream Touch Palladium nib. This one's an extra fine because I wanted a much finer nib. I've noticed that the extra fine is probably more like a fine in a Pelican. but that's alright. It's still quite fine for me. You have an hourglass shaped grip, which is nice, so your fingers don't fall forward on it. It's quite a large barrel, gives you something really girthy to hold on to. And for those that always want to cap, you can cap it. Does make it a fairly heavy pen, but you can cap it without too many issues. Doesn't become too cap heavy. Balance point's probably right where the cap is, or where the cap sits. So if you hold your pen and you've got a larger hand like me, it's probably not too bad. If you've got a smaller hand, I don't think you'd want to cap it. It'd make it too top heavy and your nib wouldn't write properly. I quite like this pen. It's a real sturdy pen, and I love it so far. I've been using it a fair bit lately, and I can't find any fault it in any way. The dimensions for this are capped, it's 146 millimeters. Uncapped, it's 132. Posted, it becomes a very large 173 millimeters. So that's a very large pen. The grip section at this narrow section is 11 millimeters, and it's 14 at the barrel. Sorry, I got some hiccups there. 14 millimeters at the barrel. The weight with the cap is 44.5 grams, and without the cap, it's 27.5 grams. So it's quite a heavy pen, but it's not too heavy that if you don't use it without the cap, it writes lovely. But yeah, very nice pen. I got this off Martini Auctions for a pretty reasonable price, and I'm very happy with this pen so far. I have considered getting the bronze one just because I want one, but I need some more money for that first. Alright, so let's get to a writing sample. Okay, so here we have the Homo sapiens steel. There's the nib and extra fine. So we'll do a writing sample. There we go. It's a very nice writer, as all these nibs are. Very smooth. Doesn't skip. That little bit there was me lifting it off the page. Bit of faster writing, no skipping, no missing. Very comfortable pen to write with. And one of the best things about this pen is that if you want to embellish a little bit, you get quite a bit of line variation. The one thing I've noticed about Visconti nibs is they tend to be about a size bigger than what I would typically be considered. Well, this is considered supposedly an EF. I'd put it in the range of a fine for a Pelican or a Lamy. And I did a comparison on the Fountain Pen Network Facebook page, and yeah, I found that these were pretty much the same size as a fine and a Pelican. But you know, so you can do an everyday writing, and at the same time, it still allows you to flex. It's a very wet nib. Very wet, but that's how I like it. Not much more to say about it. These are just fantastic pens, fantastic nibs and feeds. Very happy with this pen. I enjoy it quite a lot, and I've been using it a fair bit lately. If you're wondering, the ink in this, I think was, I believe it is Garnet by Pelican Edelstein. So I'll write that down. which if you want to get is becoming increasingly hard as it's no longer made. It was the ink of 2014, but I love this ink, so I bought another couple of bottles recently. So that's pretty much all there is. You get a bit fairly wet nib, nice bit of flex, and yeah, beautiful pen to write with. Very smooth, very nice, and flex. So what more can you want? Alright, cheers.